You know, public safety is one of our number one concerns here in the county, in the Concho Valley. 4th of July was last night, and we have multiple county parks in our county. And what we found was last night, especially, I'm going to single out Foster Park. We had some threat of fires, and some fires take place in some neighboring neighbors' fields. As Dove Creek Fire Department responded to those calls, some individuals were found shooting off fireworks in the direction of those first responders, which poses a hazard to both our volunteer firefighters and also to the land surrounding. We want it to be made aware that in our county parks, we do not permit the use of shooting off fireworks inside the park. That can be punishable from us kicking you out of the park, and also it poses a threat to our first responders, like I said. We want everybody to be safe and enjoy the 4th of July, and we have a 4-day weekend going into it. Today's only Friday. So right now, we wanted to get ahead of the game for tonight and ahead of the game for the rest of the weekend. And just to say to everybody, please be safe. Please no use of fireworks inside of our county parks. That way our first responders, our volunteer fire departments don't have the hazard of having to put out fires that are unnecessary. And also, as everybody, if you've been outside in the last hour, you can note that the wind has picked up. It's shifted from the north. The cool front has hit that we're seeing randomly through this weekend. That also will pose a problem if a fire takes off in one of those neighboring fields of the park. We do not want to have the loss of any structures or the loss of any agricultural land.
We're here today to discuss what some would call chaos at Foster Park last night. Yes, there was some fires. Luckily, by the grace of God and our wonderful volunteer fire department at Dove Creek Volunteer Fire Department, they were extinguished quickly. And those volunteers, and for the people in the city, all the volunteer fire departments outside of the city limits, those are composed strictly of volunteers. And those people, instead of getting to enjoy the holiday with their families, they were out all night making sure everybody and their property was safe. And my hat's off to them. And they were even prepared ahead of time. It's not like they had to rush to the station. They knew what the threats were. They were at the station on standby and responded immediately.
Burn ban.
We do have a burn ban.
Tell me the rules of burn bans and shooting off fireworks.
So fireworks are not, unless deemed in the burn ban.
So fireworks are not included in a burn
Those are not included in the burn ban.
Why?
We aren't at the critical stage to where we would ban fireworks at this time. We are dry, but it's not of what we saw a few years ago. It's mainly the burn ban is for if you're burning on your own field or burning trash, large-scale fires on your land that can take off and pose a problem on neighbors.
We live and learn. As far as I'm concerned, when the conditions are as dry as they are, I'll do everything in my power to keep that scenario from happening again. And I'm sure I'll have the support of all of our county officials, and we'll ensure, as always, to keep everybody safe, all of our residents, all of their property. And in times like this, we need to keep our first responders and our volunteer first responders safe.
Was there miscommunication between the sheriff's office and the county judge office? Because the sheriff seemed to indicate this morning that he wasn't allowed to do anything about enforcing fireworks in the county parks.
I wouldn't say miscommunication. There was a release put out that people could go and enjoy visual of fireworks at the parks. However, our park regulations state that there shall be no use of fireworks within the limits of our park.
So there was a release that said go out and watch the Lake Nasworthy fireworks, and not your own?
I'm not too real sure about the release that was out on what the Sheriff's Department was put out.
Okay.
It was a huge fireworks. People buy fireworks. you can't shoot off fireworks in the city limits, so they go out into the county. And unless you own property outside of the city limits in the county, where else do you go? So that was a convenient spot, and I was there about 11 or 11:30 last night. I didn't count. I'm going to guesstimate 40 vehicles, easily 40 vehicles with an average of 4 people per vehicle. And there were fireworks going off like you can't imagine. It was like a war zone. And another thing is, the morning after, the county has to get all that cleaned up, and that's tax dollars. And that's something else we try to preserve and protect. Yes, and it's sickening to me because we take great pride in our county parks. In my precinct, we have 3 parks. They're all along the river with the live oak trees, and they're inviting, and I want people to come to them and enjoy them. But there comes a time when a couple of bad apples might ruin the barrel, and I don't want to have to close them down. I want people to pay attention and pick up after themselves, and a lot of people do. It's the people that come in there and take advantage and leave it a wreck that really irritates me.
Okay, so why is it you're a voting member of the Commissioners Court? Why does the Commissioners Court have a burn ban that allows fireworks? I mean, that's gunpowder.
I
In the
understand.
middle of a gun ban, or not a gun ban, but a burn ban.
We're not going into gun bans.
I didn't want to get into gun bans, but there's a burn ban, and you have gunpowder going off. What's up with that? Is that a statewide thing, or is that like a Tom Green County?
No, that's.
We're going to make the fireworks lobby happy.
Well, as you know, I've been in office a year and a half. I'm learning something new every day, and unfortunately, sometimes we have to learn from our mistakes. I'm not going to say everybody made a mistake, but things will improve in the future to not allow this to happen again.
Overnight camping is a Class C misdemeanor. What is there? Do you know of any charges if you're firing fireworks off in a county park?
Off the top of my head, I do not. I know you can be removed from the park, and if you comply, I'm sure that's all that's going to happen to you. If you give law enforcement any grief, I'm sure there's going to be some other fines tacked on that.